Okay, so I just wanted to make a quick little video going over some little predictions, and I don't know if theories is the right word since they're not overly fact-based, but I guess you could call them theories that I have for Chapter 6. None of them were really big enough to warrant their own videos, so I thought I'd just sort of pack them all into a small one. And I'm not going to be going into too much detail, I'll try just fly through them, so I won't take too much of your time, but yeah, here we go. Now the first one I have is connected to the release date of Chapter 6. I've only seen one other person point this out, but it's something I've thought ever since we got the release date, or release year kind of revealed. Basically, it doesn't say in the credits that Chapter 6 will be coming out in 2027, sorry, but it does actually say on, I believe it's the Steam page, that it'll be coming out in 2027. And the reason I think that they decided to go for not having a concrete solid release year announcement in the credits is because they're a lot more likely to be held to that. I think they're not confident that it will be 2027, which is why they've put it into the Steam page only and not the game. But unlike most people, I actually think, and maybe this is just copium because I want the chapter to be out sooner, I actually think it's because there's a chance it could come out in 2026. Now, hear me out, I know 2 chapters in 1 year would be crazy, but Toby has said in a newsletter that this chapter is a lot easier to make, progress is going a lot faster, and well, my next piece of evidence sort of ties into the next theory, or prediction or whatever, so I'll go ahead with that. I do think Chapter 6's main Dark World will be the Holiday House. It just feels like a very fitting location. The theming is quite obvious, you could really see what it could be with the whole ice theming, you know? Like, I think it could make sense. Definitely for the Holiday House to be the main Dark World. Also, there's a bit of dialogue about the Christmas tree being quote-unquote climbable, and given the climbing clause there in the Dark Worlds, I think that would make a lot of sense. Also, because we don't have the code from there yet, so obviously we're going to have to go back at some point. So I think the Dark World would really be the best place for that. And yeah, so because of that, I think a release date December 2026 could be what Toby's actually aiming for, but isn't confident that he'll make it in time, so instead of getting our hopes up, he's saying 2027 for now, but you never know. We'll see. And yeah, tying in with Holiday House being the Dark World, I do think if that's the case, this is very, very likely where we're going to learn more about Des and potentially even get a confirmation of her as the Knight. I think this would be a good chapter to do it, especially if it means Noelle can see. And if this chapter really does revolve around the holidays, which it really seems like it's going to, then it would make the most sense, I think. And as well as this, I think we will definitely have the full code by the end of the chapter. I know we still don't have the code for the Deltarune yet, but I can't really see them taking time out of Chapter 7 for us to find that, unless it's like a huge chapter. So I feel like Chapter 7 will be the shelter and then the roaring afterwards. I don't think the roaring is going to be its whole own chapter, and I don't think it's actually going to be that long of an event. I think it's just going to start, we're going to have to fight our way through a few enemies, and then we get to the final boss, is what I'm predicting. I don't think it'll be short, maybe an hour at most, I'd say, definitely not a whole chapter. So yeah, I could definitely see us getting the Deltarune somehow by the end of this chapter as well. Who actually owns that code, I have no idea, but yeah. I mean, I just thought this there now, but maybe Toriel does, and that's why the Knight tried to kidnap her, because it does seem like they kidnapped Undyne and Asgore because they had knowledge of part of the code and they didn't want Susie getting to it. But yeah, I don't know, I just came up with that might not be true. And this next one might be a sort of dumb claim or prediction to make, given that we were all so certain that Asgore was going to be the main boss of Chapter 5, and then that obviously ended up not happening. But I do think there's a decent chance, if it's set around the Holiday Household, that Carol could be the main boss fight. Just this late in the game, I'm not sure if we're going to have a new like fun antagonist introduced, or even a serious antagonist introduced, apart from someone we'll get to later. But I think because of that, there's a good chance that Carol's going to be the main boss of the chapter, because she is I don't know if she's pretty bad. I don't know if I'd say villain, but definitely an antagonist. And I don't know if we'd fight her in the last chapter, 'cause she's not like at the top of this whole conspiracy thing. Obviously that's either the Knight or Gaster or someone, whatever. So I think it's quite likely that our confrontation with her would be in this chapter. And then, yeah, about that antagonist I mentioned, I'm just going to say it. I think Friend has a pretty good chance of finally showing up this chapter, or the Friendlings, or whatever, since there's apparently multiple of them, which is a very interesting lore dump, by the way. But because of that, I feel pretty sure that he'll be, at the very least, introduced, if not fought, in Chapter 6, especially now that the egg storyline is seemingly over, or at the very least, there's no more eggs to be found. And as we saw from the new dialogue, the eggs do seem very connected to Friend, whatever the hell's going on there. So yeah, I definitely do think we'll be at very least properly seeing him this chapter, if not fighting him. This is kind of, you could say it's kind of hedging my bets with this next prediction, because if Friend was fought next chapter, he'd most likely have to be the secret boss. But I think it's maybe more likely that Sham will end up being the secret boss. Now, why he would fight the Fun Gang, I don't know. Maybe he's just sort of trying to get them to prove they're worthy of holding something with this much power as the Pure Crystal before he purifies it. But I definitely think we will be getting a secret boss, but all the Shadow Crystals are gone, so it's definitely going to be something quite different this time, which is what makes me think Sham could be the secret boss in Chapter 6, and then, I don't know, maybe Friend will be in Chapter 7 or something, who knows. Lastly, I think we're going to get a fight against Susie this chapter on the main route. I get a lot of people think it will happen on the weird route. If it's going to happen, I can definitely see why. But I think honestly, if Susie finds out that Chris has been working with the Knight, she's going to be very, very angry. And I think I think it's bound to happen at some point. You don't make a song as good as Verse Susie, I think it was called, from Chapter 1. I think it's definitely getting a reprise. Maybe remixed with Battle Against the True Hero or something, like some people have been saying and theorizing from like Chapter 4. So yeah, I definitely think Chapter 6 would probably be the place to have that reveal happen and have them fall out so that they can come back together in time for Chapter 7. But yeah, that's all I really have to predict about the chapter for now. As we get closer to the release date, I'll probably make another little series of predictions, as we have obviously more information. Right now there's been no new newsletter or anything since Chapter 5 dropped, so working on very limited information, but yeah, I guess we'll soon see. So yeah, if you don't want to miss that, please be sure to like and subscribe. I hate to be a beg, but I have like 2 subscribers. I could use the growth. But yeah, thank you for watching.